Hello everybody. We're back with another video today. We're playing the first round of our tournament match. Yes, we are playing Beast Down from the deck profile that I'll link down below versus Haven Armored Dragon, rather. Very good list provided to Drado MTS here, my opponent. And he does play pretty well with it. I think the list is better than my list. I think realistically he had the better deck. But the reason I'm making this video isn't just to show off the tournament game, but rather to kind of show a bit of a lesson, I feel. I'm going to spoil right now. I went 2-0 this match. I don't think that was necessarily deserved, so I'm going to kind of go into that a little bit. And explain why. I think there's some good learning lessons to be had here in this game. Now I will say, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not making this video to make fun of my opponent. This is mainly some criticisms of the gameplay. I'm not insulting my opponent. Dreidel, if you're watching this video, I'm purely making this to kind of critique your play a little bit and say a few thoughts I had during the game that I actually have written down beside me. So my opening hand is pretty good. We opened Grand Summoner, Howl, Melina, Fluttering Cupid, Reckless Impaler, and Impeding Behemoth. We drew Perfect Defense for turn and spirited it. I think I later regretted spiriting this PD. I think that was a very greedy move in my hand. I think I should have spirited the Prideful Howl instead. I don't really agree with that spirit, but I understand I wanted to play a Haven card, but I think that was a little greedy on my end. But my first turn one move is just a pass. His opening spirit is a Heavyweight Dragon and a Traveling Cleric. Again, he's on Haven Armored Dragon. Spirits an Avalon for turn and drops down a Dragonic Rider and a Shield Wyvern, which is a pretty okay turn one. It's not great, because it doesn't really accomplish anything, but he just goes in for 3 damage and passes it back to me. For my turn, I draw into You off Explorer and Aura of the Beast off my draw. And at this point, I was like, oh, this really fixes my hand. Because I was looking at my hand, I'm like, wow, I got a lot of big guys. I don't know how I'm clearing a 2 and a 1. So drawing Aura here really fixed everything. Because now, as you'll see, I'm going to be able to clear both of his dudes, the Shield Wyvern and the Dragonic Rider. So let's go ahead and watch. I'm going to let the turn play out a bit. I don't remember what I spirit here. I believe I spirit the Impaler, if I'm correct. Yeah, I spirit a second Impaler. And my play is to go Impeding Behemoth, Fluttering Cupid. And then use the Aura of the Beast to snipe the Shield Wyvern, I believe. And I picked the Wyvern to snipe because I want to deal 1 damage, destroying the Dragonic Rider. And this is where I think I actually kind of made a bit of a mistake. And I'm going to go into it here in just a moment. So, sorry to pause already. So my thought process was, oh, well, I'm going to do the optimal Beast play of Behemoth is going to murder Rider, and then he has to deal with a 30,000 attacker. Which, for most decks, is very difficult to do with Force Spirit. But I'm in for a Rude Awakening. So I go in, I crush it, restrain the Cupid, and his turn comes in. Spirit's a recharge, fair enough. And he drops Dragonic Shock Trooper, Tavern's Head Wiccan, places Avalon, and drops a Traveling Cleric of Avalon, giving some really nice life gain. And as you can see in the chat in the bottom right, yeah, Shock Trooper does it. Armored Dragon with Dragonic Rider and Shock Trooper has unique ways of killing a behemoth that other colors don't, because their 2s get big. Dragonic Shock Trooper gains 5,000 power during the attack phase. If you add up all the allies, all the attack to their allies, it's 8,000, 9,000, 18. That's enough to kill my behemoth. And considering I took a walloping to the face already in the previous turn, just from the Javelin of Cinders doing burn damage, taking 3 the turn 1, you'll find he clears. And suddenly, I'm 21 life to 13. I am down 8 life points and it's turn 3. And I'll be real, I was considering scooping just because of how bad. I'm like, man, I am down so bad. What am I going to do here? I'm down so much life, and for turn, I believe I draw Illidar Grand Summoner, and I spirit the Illidar does do. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to play the normal game here. I can't just keep trading allies when I'm down this much life. He will win. So I'm like, okay, I need to come up with a plan. So I'm like, well, I could boost Fluttering Cupid with the Prideful Howl to deal with Weakon, and I could play, like, something. Yeah, I didn't really have a good plan. So instead of trying to, like, clear board, I make the decision that I'm just going to start hitting them in the dome. I'm going to try to play this one out, because at this point I really was pretty convinced this game was lost. So we go Grand Summoner, expend the Perfect Defense, invoke the Druzari's Attendant here. Because in my mind, I was like, my hand is really bad. I need to draw a card. I need to fix this hand. Because at this point, in my mind, I'm like, I've probably already lost this. And I think against a more seasoned opponent, I think I would have. So I go 3-face, and I leave my Illidar and Fluttering Cupid up on the field. This play is so risky. If he had dropped a last-second interception here, I would have just scooped up my cards and went to game 2. Fortunately for me, he doesn't have it. He takes 3. His turn. And this is where my opponent will make their mistake that I exploit. I have left my Fluttering Cupid and the Illidar up because I know that, Avalon kill this, Weakon kill this, and then 2 will just stay face. But in my mind, I was already thinking he's going to go 2 kill this, 1 kill this, leave the Avalon up, and then just try to give a bigger eye out, because he's not going to restrain everything again, was what I thought. He went 3-face. Or rather, he killed the Illidar, killed the Fluttering Cupid, and swung 2-face. This was my opponent's greatest folly. This decision on his part completely changed the game. You might have noticed he regained his life points. He used the Spear of Stamina on Avalon. I am down 10 health. I am at 10 HP to 20. That's really fucking bad. Let's see what I draw. I don't even remember what I drew this turn. I drew into Prideful Howl Bond. And I'm just like, wow. He really did that. He restrained everything again. My opponent did not think that I would just swing face again. And to be fair, against Haven, it's very risky because they have Perfect Defense and last-second interception that can counter this. But the thing is, I'm down 10 health. I don't have a better move than to just try if I wanted to win. This was truly the only avenue I had to win the game available to me, and I took it. I have 6 Spirit, and I just slammed down my fucking cards. I go Grand Summoner Melina, Grand Summoner target the Impaler. I believe I whiffed the Melina. And I go 9 fucking damage straight to the dome. And suddenly, the life totals are equal. This was my opponent's crucial mistake. What they did was clear my 2 weenies and then swing face with their last ally. That was the worst thing they could have done. And again, I'm not making fun of my opponent. Let me explain why this was really bad and what they should have done instead. So we're going to go back. Let's go back to how they should have won. It's my opponent's turn. All they have to do here, swing with the Shot Trooper, kill the Illidar, if anything. Honestly, here, I would almost be tempted to pass. But I would go Shot Trooper, kill Illidar, leave these 2 up. These guys are useless to you if you use them. If you really care about the card draw, maybe you could go Weakon, kill Cupid, and leave these 2 up. But if I'm Dreidel, I'm seeing that I got a massive lead. I want to put bigger dudes out to finish this quickly. Instead, going for this damage race with weak allies gives me a chance to catch up because he doesn't have perfect defenses or LSIs to back this up. This play would have been perfectly acceptable had he had LSI. But he didn't. And as a result, I ignore his dudes and I equalize the life. Suddenly I'm only down 1 health instead of 10. I'm back in the game. Back in a game that I had no business winning. That if he just left up some blockers for me to kill instead, he would have been on the fast train to victory. Skipping ahead here, my opponent does the same fucking thing. He restrains everything again. And again, not making fun of my opponent. He did not learn from this blunder. And suddenly, I'm like, oh, this is the game we're playing. He's back up to 12 because of Haven healing effects. He has more Spears, Avalon. Spirit of Elof, summon a Bladed Savage. And again, what do? 9 face. It's all I can do. I know I can't beat Armored Dragon in an arms race. I have to punch them in the dome here. It's my only avenue to victory, and he didn't have an LSI or PD the last turn, so I'm thinking he might not have them now. But alas, he does have an LSI this time, and he uses it on the Bladed Savage attack, which is fine. So I end up killing the Draconic Shot Trooper, and then I use the Bladed Savage effect to engage it. So as we can see here, I re-engage the Bladed Savage. I correct him on his life total that he should be at 5. And again, this was a game that just 2 turns ago, I was at a 10 life disadvantage, and suddenly I'm winning. Because my opponent didn't learn his lesson. He kept restraining all of his guys and not leaving blockers, leaving himself wide open to swinging face. Even though he had the LSI, I'm now at a competitive life total, and we're suddenly in endgame of a game that I had no business in winning. I leave the Bladed Savage up to be a blocker because my life is at low, because unlike my opponent, I recognize that I could just be fucked if he dropped a 5. I leave the Bladed Savage up. I don't have any hand traps at this point. So I'm like, I have to leave this Bladed Savage up, otherwise he just drops Shiza and I'm dead. My opponent, meanwhile, drops a Vrosh, which doesn't do anything. There's a bit of confusion about it not being able to pop the Traveling Cleric. A little bit of confusion. He goes in, kills Bladed Savage with a support. Main phase 2 plays Melina, and passes. So he's at 7 life total. I was really hoping to draw a Pat Behemoth here because I would have just won the game on the spot. It's 7-6 right now. These Haven heal spells are really keeping him in the game, by the way. Really clutch. So I go ahead, I restrain 3, and I play the Reckless Impaler for my Spirit. And the reason I did this is because I was still holding out hope that the Tuster in my hand could be used for a Pat Behemoth line. But alas. I bring out the Tuster that I summoned off a Grand Summoner, negate its effects with Bond, then use the Prideful Howl in my hand to boost Grand Summoner to kill the Melina. So the play is Impaler kill Vrosh because it's 25, Summoner kill Melina because it's 22, and then 3 face, and that's exact lethal if he doesn't have anything. I do that, and he has a PD. So he's down to 3. I had to try. It was either that or kill the Weecon. I think I made the right choice. And the reason I made this choice was because I had last second interception. The difference between what I'm doing and what my opponent's doing is I had a plan. I had a plan for restraining all my guys. I had that last second interception. I didn't need a blocker because last second interception will create a blocker, essentially. So skipping ahead, he plays Shiza, he plays Charge Leader, he swings in to go for the face, and sure enough, I have last second interception to save my life. I was prepared. He leaves 2 guys up. It doesn't matter. I play a bunch of dudes, and he stoops to game 2 because I am able to just win. Yep. Win game 1 that I had no business of winning. The big criticism I have for Dreidel there is know when it's okay to leave blockers. I think what had occurred way back when this first started was he saw that he was winning. And again, this is all assumption. I think he saw that he was winning and wanted to push it, right? Because he got to that point where he's up 10 life. But in doing so, he leaves himself open for a response. And I have a level 3. My advice to you, Dreidel, is if you're winning, you're in the driver's seat. I'm the one who has to make a play. I'm the one who has to make the comeback here, not you. You have this massive life lead. Don't push it by attacking with all your weenies. Leave some blockers up. Protect those life points that you're so good at gaining. Leave blockers so you can play your bigger allies. Because as a result, I was able to win game 1. Game 2 is not so straightforward, but there is a pivotal point where my opponent makes a misplay that I need to talk about. So this time, Drado decides to go first. Nexus, Shock Trooper, Avalon, and Spirit. My hand, I think, is off the charts. I drew Banyan, Calling to the Pack, Perfect Defense, Grand Summoner, LSI, Pat Behemoth, Perfect Defense. My only criticism is I don't have a good Grand Summoner target in my opening Spirit, because I can't target Melina because it's Haven, and can't target a spell, obviously. But other than that, I was feeling good. My opponent just slaps down a Dragonic Rider, which I don't agree with. This Dragonic Rider, you're basically just sending it out here to die. I think it would have been a much better play to just play nothing and keep this Rider as a resource. Typically, going first, you only want to play an ally if it's going to replace itself. So if it either like draws a card, gets a search, something that goes +1. So that way you're not taking the inherent neg on playing a card. So by just whipping out this Rider, you're basically just giving me a target to kill to save a little bit of damage, which I don't agree with. So I Spirit a Pat Behemoth because I know I can target it off the Grand Summoner. And I reveal 3 beasts. I reveal a Tuster, a Behemoth, and a Bladed Savage. And the reason I reveal these 3 is because I know these are 3 good allies to invoke off the pack. The Savage is the least good, but these 2 are very good. So my mind is, I'm going to go Grand Summoner this turn, target the Pat Behemoth in my Spirit, and then next turn, Pat Behemoth into something crazy. I think I get the Bladed Savage here. I do. I know I get the Behemoth. I'm feeling pretty good. I play the Grand Summoner, targeting the Pat Behemoth, and I run over the Dragonic Rider. Again, I just ate that card for free. I just deleted a card from my opponent for nothing. So that Dragonic Rider just died for no reason. These are things I think you shouldn't do. Again, I would only play an ally turn 1 if you're like an Astral deck and you're like trying to exile a bunch of stuff and you're doing that combo heavy, or if you're like drawing or something like that. Throwing out a random level 2 that's not doing anything is just a throwing away a card, essentially. My opponent plays an Avalon, plays a Melina. And this is the misplay I was talking about. I don't know my opponent's hand. So maybe there's nothing but like level 2s and 3s in there. He swings 3 face with this Melina. I don't even PD it. He adds a Perfect Defense. And he lets me keep the Grand Summoner. In my opponent's shoes, if I didn't have anything else to play, I would have suicided my Melina. Letting your opponent ramp a level 3 is sacrificing all of your early game tempo. Now, granted, Drado did, I don't know if he mains it or sides it, but he plays a card that could save him from this, and we'll see it later. Hey, this is post-editing Shikabane here. The card I was talking about in this part of the video is Clear Destruction. And I just failed to talk about it later on in my initial recording, so I figured I would give it a brief mention here. It's a neutral spell that, while I control allies that are level 8 or more, I expend 2 Spirit to destroy all allies in play. He Spirits this way later in the game, so he clearly didn't have it at any point. But I just wanted to bring attention to the card I was talking about in this clip, because I just completely forget to mention it later on. Sorry for the brief interlude. Enjoy the rest of the video. And I'll point it out when we get to it. But I am now feeling on top of the world. I just got to keep my Grand Summoner for free. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down 3 damage, but I don't really care. I remember being very giddy at this point. I was like jumping in my seat. I'm like, holy shit. I just got to keep my Grand Summoner. You can see my mouse movement is very, very spastic. It's because I have to I'm trying to calm myself down in the moment. Like, okay, you just got a huge lead, don't throw, is what I'm telling myself. I believe what I do here is I Spirit PD, impeding Behemoth Bond, because I want to stick the bond. And that's exactly what I do. I don't play the pack here. Which, I'm wondering if it was correct to not play the pack. No, it's not, because I don't have a 0 to play. If I had a 0, it would have been. But because I don't, there's no way to use Bond during the battle phase. So, because Bond is a res once per turn effect, so I can only use it during my main phase. So I use the Bond because I've got the Grand Summoner. I can negate my guy. And suddenly I kill his Melina and I go 3 face. This play would not be possible had this Grand Summoner been off the field. He should have suicided his Melina to kill my Summoner and get the search. It would have been in a much better position. Because I was thinking, like, oh, he'll go 2 and a 1 and a 1, or a 3 and a 1 and kill my guy, and then I'll go Pack Behemoth into something. No, that's not what happens at all. Now, it's his turn 3 with 5 Spirit, and I got a 4 and a 3. I'm up tempo right now, and I'm feeling good about it. Spirit's a Dreadnought Charge Leader, sits for a while, and he plays a Heavyweight Dragon and a Dreadnought Charge Leader to come wipe out my impeding Behemoth. This would be enough, but I LSI. I missed it. I missed it. On the Declaration of Heavyweight, I LSI it, targeting my Grand Summoner. I really want to keep this impeding alive because I see that I have a U-Offit Spore in my hand. I have another Shaman. I want to keep this alive. This is also less damage. So not only am I saving myself my impeding Behemoth, but I'm saving 2 damage because Behemoth has 3 drawback and Summoner has only 1. So that's going away. Goodbye. My turn rolls in. I draw into a Bladed Savage, which I'm just super giddy about. Spirit the Grazer, play U-Offit Spore, play Bladed Savage, negate my guy, and yeah, we just go to fucking town. Oh, I missed it, by the way. He did use Giant Charge Leader to bounce back his Heavyweight. I go Bladed Savage over the guy. I do engage it and go for 1 more damage. And then I swing with the Impeding Behemoth. And suddenly, once again, the life totals are equal despite him being on all these healing cards. All through 1 misplay. You can kind of fast forward through the game here. He does Weakon in the Shiza, pretty powerful board. Gets to watch over my U-Off. And then kills my Bladed Savage. He's let me keep the Behemoth because he can't kill it. Because he played Weakon before the Shiza as well, he doesn't get the Shiza attack boost, which I'm very happy about. I have my Aura of the Beast. I'm kind of looking at it. I'm debating if I want to keep it. I Spirit the Prideful House. I don't really see a good use for it here. I believe now I go for Melina Cupid, because I don't have a Shaman. Yeah, I go Melina Cupid, Impeding Kill Shiza, Melina 3, Peep 3, and I get an Unresting Spirit of the Beast, which I'm very happy to see. I do get PD'd, but, that's okay. His turn, he's very low on Expended Spirit, so he's not going to be Shiza-ing me anytime soon. He drops a full board of guys, a 2-2 and a 1. And here I actually make a little bit of a misplay. I'm going to kind of explain my misplay. So he plays Draconic Warcry, and both of these guys get attack bonuses. So he's got 2,000 attack Shot Trooper, 21 attack Rider, 10 attack Raranel. And I'm going to explain my misplay too, because I'm not a super genius. I make mistakes too. So at this point, I'm like, don't know the math. I'm like, wow, this is he might actually make a comeback despite letting me ramp earlier. So he does Draconic Shot Trooper, attack Melina. And I let it die, and I think I shouldn't have done this. I think what I should have done is use Unresting Spirit of the Beast now to try to kill this, because then the Melina goes back to deck, and suddenly these two have to support over a Behemoth. I do effectively a similar thing with Unresting to stave off the 3 damage I would take in from the drawback. Because what I do is I use Unresting, targeting the Behemoth to make it 8,000 attack stronger. So this way I kill the Draconic Rider. And the reason I think I should have used this on Melina is because I think he would have supported to try to kill the Melina. But say la vie, I choose to avoid damage. I use the quick play, the the Swift spell on the Behemoth. It dies. By Avoid Drawback, he kills his die, and he plays another rider in main phase 2, so he's learning his lesson about the blockers. And at this point, I whip out the Pat Behemoth. I draw 2 Bond, by the way. I want to point this out. Worst top deck of my life, 2 fucking Bond, and I am so livid. I'm like, oh, fuck. So it's looking pretty bad. I go Pat Behemoth here. Pat Behemoth into Grazer. Kill a bunch of guys. I'm able to kill everything because I use the Aura of the Beast, and I level his field. He responds with a Vrosh, killing my Grazer. Rarnell kills my 1. I PD the Vrosh because I'm desperate for card draw. And then I have a Udimoto moment. We decided to invoke our inner Udimoto. So we have to kill this, and we have a 2 and a 1. We are not doing good, people. I spirit the other Bond, and I smack down that trainee so hard and shuffle that Bond back because I'm desperate to draw something. Anything that I can use. And I draw it Impaler, and I start pod champing in real life. Oh, I smack that PD into my spirit. I'm like, he's only going to be on 2 cards. I have to try. Drop down Grazer. Grazer comes down. Shuffle back in the Pat Behemoth to hopefully redraw it. I smack down the Impaler. Impaler, kill Vrosh. Trainee, kill Rarnell. Grazer 2. He uses an LSI. I'm so happy about this. That means his last card in hand is gone, and I've got a full field, and he's only going to get 2 cards. One of them he has to spirit. And it's suddenly, I'm in such a good position. He has 1 card. He passes. I go 5 face. He draws 2 more. Melina and a Wicon. Spear. Shield Wyvern. It's not enough. Calling of the Pack. I get some dudes. Phantom Horn. 2 Impalers with no hand. No discarding for me. Die. I roll heads on the Rampager and I put him down to 1. 1 measly life. He draws 3, 2, 1. It's 6 damage, but I'm at 8 health. It's not enough. Even a Javelin off the top won't save him. And it's over. It is over just like that. What did we learn? It all goes back to this turn. He was winning so hard. He was winning. He had me numbered. He had me cooked. But he flew too close to the sun. He was so desperate for that damage race that he failed to see that his board was full. And I could play big guys and win the damage race in game 1. And game 2, his underestimating of letting me ramp a level 3 lets me win the early game tempo and do plays I wouldn't have been able to done had he suicided the Melina. And again, I'm not harassing my opponent. Drado played a very good game, and despite that mishap in game 2, I still had to really think on my feet, and we really went to a top deck war. I almost lost. Had my draws been different, that duel could have maybe won in his favor regardless. But just because he could have almost won, and it came down to top decking, doesn't mean he couldn't have played better. My advice to Dreidel is, know when to use your blockers, know when you're winning, and don't be afraid to suicide an ally if it means that you keep them off ramp. Ramp is very scary in Arakai. It's one of the most powerful things you can get. Ramp, for those who don't know, is where you have more allies on board with level than spirit. Because I was allowed to keep that level 3, I was able to play a level 4 and a 3 by turn 5, which typically you can't do because you only have 5 spirit. I think this is a powerful learning lesson. And again, I mean no ill will to my opponent. You played a good game, Dreidel. And for everyone else, thank you for watching this learning experience. I think this was a very entertaining game. Let me know what you think about this sort of thing. Do you like that I'm speeding it up a bit and getting to the good parts of the match? Or would you rather it be a bit more raw and see every little interaction. Let me know. Either way, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.